Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, February 14th. An interesting weather pattern shaping up for the next several days. It's really a mild weather pattern going well into next week. In fact, we may have some near record warmth on Thursday. High temperatures tomorrow afternoon, well up in the 60s in many parts of the I-95 corridor. And then it'll turn mild again, quite mild again, during the early part of next week. In between, however, a cold shot will arrive here in the eastern U.S. A strong cold frontal passage occurs during the day on Friday. And then on Saturday, low pressure will pull out of the south and head towards the mid-Atlantic coastline. It could be just cold enough for some snow in the I-95 corridor region. At least part of this upcoming storm could be in the form of snow. And yes, accumulations are on the table. Now, when you're in a mild pattern, of course, it's extremely difficult to get a significant snowstorm, but it can happen. You really have to thread the needle. The reason it is a mild weather pattern in general is because there's no blocking right now in the upper part of the atmosphere over the northern latitudes, and that in turn results in cold air outbreaks that are not sustainable in the northeastern part of the country, and that will be the problem for this upcoming storm. Can the cold air hang in long enough for some significant snow later Saturday and Saturday night? And those are the things we'll focus in on over the next couple of minutes, and over the next couple of days we'll monitor that rain-snow line for this upcoming weekend event. Let's start off by looking at the 500 millibar analysis from last night's 0Z GFS model run. Now, the models have, in general, gone to a solution where low pressure will make it this far north into the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor later Saturday night. It certainly is not a guarantee yet. It's still a few days away. But let's take a look at the upper air pattern first. We'll move ahead in 6-hour increments. And here we go. We start off the day here on Wednesday. Basically a west to east flow here across the eastern half of the nation. That's known as a zonal flow. It prevents some real cold air from dropping in from the north to the south, because air is basically moving across the country from west to east, basically Pacific air moving eastward. And that's part of the reason why we'll really warm up during the day on Thursday following a warm frontal passage late tonight. Let's move ahead in 6-hour increments and just track the wave that will play a big role in the Saturday system. Here we go now into tomorrow afternoon. By this time, warm front should be north of the Mason-Dixon line, and high temperatures tomorrow afternoon could jump to 70+ degrees in D.C., well into the 60s in Philadelphia and New York City, and much of the day is likely to be rain-free. There will be some rain showers overnight tonight, maybe some patchy fog, maybe damp tomorrow morning with some light rain or drizzle around, but most of the day tomorrow will be rain-free to go along with those near record warmth temperatures in the mid-Atlantic region. Now let's keep moving forward here as we go into tomorrow night, and then by later tomorrow night more rain moves in as a strong cold front closes in on the mid-Atlantic region. And here's a wave associated with that next cold shot. Here we go into the day on Friday. More rain on Friday. That strong cold front pushes through the region during the day on Friday. It'll start off mild, but the day may very well end with temperatures dropping and the winds picking up as that colder air mass arrives. Now let's start moving into the early part of the weekend. Here we go, Saturday morning. Strong wave cutting across the country, basically in a west to east type flow, but it continues to move to the east, and this is the wave of energy that should set off the development of low pressure down in the southeast U.S. that ends up going to the east of the I-95 corridor. That's important as well, where the storm track is lining up, and it looks like it'll end up off the mid-Atlantic coastline to the east of here late Saturday night. And here we go by Saturday evening, that wave moving right into the northeastern part of the country, and by this time low pressure should be situated off the mid-Atlantic coastline. Well, let's now take a look at the surface forecast maps. These maps from tropicaltidbits.com. Again, we'll push through in 6-hour increments here all the way through the upcoming weekend event. And here we go this morning. High pressure situated along the southeastern coastline. A warm frontal system will approach the area and cause some showers in the area in the overnight hours. Right here, overnight tonight, not a heavy rain event, but certainly some rain showers likely in and around the midnight time period, going into after midnight. Could also be some patchy fog. Then by the time we get into early Thursday morning, that burst of rain pushes off the East Coast. It may be a lingering shower early, but again, much of the day tomorrow may be cloudy, but generally rain-free to go along with those very mild conditions for this time of the year. Again, 70 degrees plus possible in the D.C. metro region, well up in the 60s in Philly and New York City. And here we go. By later tomorrow and tomorrow night, another batch of rain will form along that cold frontal system. Notice the high pressure area here over the northern plains later tomorrow night. This is a cold air mass. Strong winds from the north to the south in the upper part of the Midwest by tomorrow night, and that cold air just pushes slowly to the south and east. Indeed, some rain tomorrow night into the day on Friday. All areas of the I-95 corridor should see rain with that slowly advancing cold frontal system. That front will drop from the northwest to the southeast. And again, Friday starts off mild, but by the end of the day, temperatures will be dropping, winds will be picking up out of the north, the colder air will be coming in. And notice a high pressure area moving into the Midwest region by Friday night. Now this is a Friday night forecast map. By this time, precipitation is moving out of the area, colder air is pouring into the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. High pressure sitting on top of the region as we begin the day on Saturday. Cold high pressure. It'll be a cold start to the day. Notice Gulf of Mexico moisture starting to feed in here down in the southern states. Now we talked about mild pattern generally doesn't have sustainable cold air. Now watch what happens here later in the day on Saturday. That high pressure already shifting off the East Coast, opening the door for some low-level wind flow out of the south. That'll start to push some milder air towards the 95 corridor. But also precipitation starting to push in. And here by late in the day on Saturday, early Saturday night, 0Z GFS has snow over D.C., moving into the Philadelphia metro region and New York City. But again, high pressure off the coast, south flow in the lower part of the atmosphere here. And eventually, that low does move to the east of the I-95 corridor, which is a good storm track for snow around here. But with that high pressure retreating, certainly the cold air should be retreating somewhat, and there could be a changeover to rain, especially in D.C., perhaps even in Philadelphia and New York City. So right now, it appears increasingly likely that low pressure will make it this far north late Saturday night. There very well could be accumulating snow, but it also could end up changing over to rain, which of course would limit overall accumulations. A lot to hone in on over the next few days, so stay tuned to VencoreWeather.com. Let's go ahead a little bit farther in this time frame, and here we go. By early Sunday morning, that low pressure moving off the coast back in colder flow behind that low, and perhaps a change back to snow at the end of this event. So definitely a weekend event coming. It could feature some accumulating snow in D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City, but that rain-snow line will be something to focus in on over the next few days. Certainly a snow to rain, perhaps even back to snow scenario is on the table. That's it for now. For VencoreWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.